Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Today we are doing our FSA Packet 1. We are doing problems 45 through 55. Remember to pause this video at any time that you need to slow things down or write things down. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Nope. I need this. Okay. All right, Kyle is 12 years old. In 4 years, he will be twice the age of his sister, Sierra. How old will Sierra be in 4 years? Well, if Kyle is 12, in 4 years, he will be 16 years old. And this age is twice his sister's age. So 16 equals 2 times C for Sierra. So to solve this, we would just do the opposite and divide both sides by 2. This cancels because 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times C is C. And 12 divided by 2 is 8. So in 4 years, Sierra will be 8 years old. Okay, Drake is drawing a triangle for his art project. One side of the triangle is 3 inches, and another side of the triangle is 5 inches. What is a possible length for the third side of the triangle? Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to take the 5 and we're going to subtract 3 from it, and we're going to get 2. And then we're going to take that same 5 and we're going to add the 3 to it, and we're going to get 8. So any number between, can't spell, between 2 and 8. Okay, number 47. As part of an experiment, the spinner below was spun 75 times. The results are shown in the table. Based on the information in the table, what is the estimated probability of the spinner landing on an odd number? Remember, estimated probability is experimental probability. That is what actually happened. It is not theoretical probability. So estimated probability is experimental probability. So we have to look at the odd numbers. Odd numbers are 1, 3, and 5. But we want to look how many times those numbers have been spun. So that is 11, 13, and 15. So we're going to add those together. 11 plus 13 plus 15. And when we add those together, we're going to put them over 75 because 75 is our total amount. So 11 plus 13 is 24. 24 plus 15 is 39. And you are allowed to use the calculator on this part, so if you needed to add those up with the calculator, that's fine. So 39 over 75. And when you divide those to get, if you wanted to get a percentage, 39 divided by 75 gives you 52 hundredths, which is the same as 52%. So this equals 52%. That is the probability, estimated or experimental probability of landing on an odd number. Okay, what is the value of angle B? We're ultimately going to be looking at angle B, but at the beginning of this, we need to look at all 3 angles because we don't know what X is yet, and that's the important part. We need to find what X is so then we can multiply it times 2, and that'll give us angle B. So we're going to add all these together, X plus 2X plus 1.5X. And that's all going to equal 180 degrees because this is all a straight line. So all 3 of these angles added together gives us a straight line, which is 180 degrees. So x plus 2x, that's just 1x plus 2x. So we're back to kindergarten counting now, right? 1x plus 2x's is 3x's, right? And 3x's plus 1.5x's is 4.5x's. That still equals 180. We just condensed all of this down to 4.5. Now 4.5 is being multiplied times x, so to solve a multiplication equation, we have to do the opposite and divide both sides by 4.5. This is going to cancel, and we are left with x is equal to 180 divided by 4.5. We can put this into our calculator, and that equals 40. We are not done. Please don't put 40 as your answer. It wants to know what the angle is of, what the value of angle B is in degrees. 40 is not it. 40 is our x. Angle B says 2x. So we need to take the 2 and multiply it times the 40, and that gives us the measurement of angle B. So that is 80 degrees. So angle B is 80 degrees. Okay, Olivia bought a pair of jeans for $40.66, including 7% sales tax. The jeans were on sale for 20% off the original price. What is the original price of the jeans before sales tax? What you have to do here is you have to work backwards. Okay, so let's go ahead and if we had an original price, to get to our final price, if we are wanting to include a 7% sales tax and 20% off, what we would do is we would take the original amount, we would multiply it times 0.8 or 80%, right? Because we want to pay for 80% of the price, right? If we're taking 20% off of it, that means 100% minus 20%, we will be paying for 80% of that outfit, the jeans. Okay, so, and 80% as a decimal is just 0.8. So we want to multiply our original number. This is not the original, this is what we paid for it, okay? We want to multiply the original amount times 0.8, and then also multiply it times 7%. If we're paying for 7% sales tax, then we are paying for 100% of whatever price it comes to after the 80% off, plus an additional 7% sales tax. That equals 107%. 107% that we will be paying is 1.07. Okay, and then that gives us the $40.66. So to solve this, we want to work backwards. So instead of multiplying all of these, we want to divide them. Okay, so we are going to take our 40.66 and start by dividing it by 1.07. Okay, and when we do that, okay, we got 40.66 divided by 1.07, or 107%. That's 38. Okay, and then we take that 38 and we have to divide it by the 0.8. And that will give us our original amount. It's 47.5. That was the original amount before all of the sales price. After we took the amount off that we needed to for the sale, the 20% off, and then the sales tax as well. Sorry, it's late. Okay, so 47.5, but remember we're talking about money, so we want to know the actual price. We're not going to say it was $47.50. We don't ever say that. We say $47.50, right? We want to make sure a 0 is in that hundreds place if you have nothing in the hundreds place as of right now. So $47.50 is your original amount. Okay, the area of the circle below is 28 and 26 square inches. What is the radius of the circle? Okay, so remember, let's just remember our formula for area. Area equals pi times the radius squared, or pi times radius. Okay, it told us the area here. We're not looking for the area. It told us, and also they left out a decimal here, so or it was just too squeezed and you can't see the decimal. Remember, it is not 2,826, but it is 28 and 26 hundredths. So we're going to write 28 and 26 hundredths where our area should go, and then pi times r times r. We know that pi stands for 3.14, or that's the abbreviated estimated version of pi, right? Pi goes on forever, but we call pi 3.14 as the shortened version. And then we are still multiplying that times the radius times the radius. So to get the radius squared by itself first, so that we can solve for the radius, what we want to do is get rid of that 3 and 14 hundredths. So right now it's being multiplied. R is being multiplied times 3.14. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we want to divide both sides by 3.14. This cancels. We're still left with that r times r. or r squared, and then we want to divide the other side by 3.14. So 28 and 26 hundredths, and then we want to divide that by 3.14, and we get 9. We're not done. Okay, 9 is equal to radius squared. So the radius times the radius equals 9. What that means is that some number times itself equals 9. That number is our radius. So we need to think, what number times itself gives us 9, or find the square root of 9. The square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 gives us 9. So r is equal to 3. So our radius here is 3 inches. A cereal company randomly selects 100 boxes of cereal and checks the weight of each box. 5 boxes are found to have the incorrect weight. How many boxes of cereal should the company predict to have the incorrect weight out of 20,000 boxes? Okay, so if we've got 100 boxes total that we're originally talking about, and 5 of those boxes are found to have an incorrect weight, what it's wanting to know is how many incorrect weights, how many have an incorrect weight out of 20,000 boxes. So all we're doing here is we're setting up a proportion, and then we're going to solve for x. How we do that is we cross multiply and then divide. So 20,000 times 5 is equal to 100 times x. 20,000 times 5, 100,000. And then we simply have 100x over here. To solve for x, we have to do the opposite of what it says. Right now it's saying that we are multiplying our variable times 100. So to solve that, we have to do the opposite of multiplying 100 by 100 and divide by 100. So we're going to divide both sides by 100, and we'll get 1,000. This side is going to cancel, and we're left with x is equal to 100,000 divided by 100, and that gives us 1,000. So 1,000 of the boxes have an incorrect weight. Which of the following expressions are equivalent to the expression shown below? Select all that apply. Okay, well, what we want to do here is we want to combine like terms. So I'm going to rewrite this equation to where we have combined like terms. 3/4 x, and this is a subtraction, so we are subtracting 1/4 x. Okay, we're going to put that together because our x's go together. And then we're going to put our constants together. Our constants are just the regular numbers, this +3 and this -2. So over here, I'm going to put the 3 minus a negative, because we're subtracting here, but this is also a -2. So 3 minus a -2. Okay, and we are putting these together. So 3/4 x minus 1/4 x. Okay, 3 minus 1 gives us 2. Because they have the same denominator, we don't have to change anything. If you had different denominators, you would have to change them to have a like denominator. But right now they have the same denominator, so we are good. All that means is we just subtract the numerators. So 3 minus 1 gives us 2. Your denominator does not change. Make sure to keep your variable x with it. 3 minus a -2. You can do click click here for sure, but some people don't know click click, or they don't think about it like that. Sometimes I like to think about this as like you're at 3 and you're subtracting. Negatives are like sandbags. It's something that weighs you down. So if you're subtracting sandbags, you're going to like take them off, and whatever it is going to rise, right? I'm thinking about balloons in my head, by the way. I don't think objects randomly just rise. But so if you're at a 3 and you take away 2 sandbags, you're going to rise up 2 more. So it's really click, click, 3 plus 2, which is 5. So 2/4 x plus 5, that is B. But it did say select all that apply. So whenever it says that, I am almost 99% sure that every single time is going to be more than one answer. So that is one of your answers. But if you look here, our fraction can also be reduced. 2/4 is not simplest form. You can reduce it 2/4 by dividing the top and bottom number both by the same number, which is 2. 2 divided by 2 gives us 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we have 1/2 x plus 5 as well. That is also a correct answer. And so that is E. So E is also correct. Let's double check that the other ones are not correct. Well, if it's 2/4 x plus 5, then it cannot be 2/4 x plus 1. 1/2 x plus 1, it cannot be if it's 1/2 x plus 5. And this says x plus 5, which doesn't make any sense because we have a fraction in front of our variable, and that does not. Okay, so it's B and E for this answer. Okay, number 53. Tyler is making batches of trail mix using pretzels, peanuts, and M&Ms. The table below shows the amount of each ingredient he uses for each batch. Okay, so select all the batches that will have the same ratio of ingredients as the first batch. So we're looking here. Okay, we want whatever it is to be equal to this. 1, 4, and 2. So remember, we have to do the same things to all three numbers for it to be the same ratio. So if we were to multiply this by 2, for say, we would have to multiply all of them by 2. 4 times 2 gives me 8. 2 times 2 gives me 4. 1 times 2 gives me 2. 8, 4, 2. Let's see if there's anything that says 8, 4, 2 here. And yep, batch 4 says 8, 4, 2. Okay, so batch 4 is equivalent. Okay, or what we could have done, okay, was divide all of these by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, or 1/2. And if we look, there's a 2, a 1, and a 0.5 right here. And that is batch number 5. To make sure we didn't miss any of the others, 3, 2, and 1, that is not going to work because if we are, to get from 2 to 2, we would have to divide by 1, and that works here. 1 divided by 1 is 1, but 4 divided by 1 is not 3. So that does not work for batch 2. Batch 3 does not work because we would divide 1 divided by 2 to get 0.5, which is good here, but 2 divided by 2 is not 0.5, so that does not work. And this one does not work down here because 1 times 2 gives us 2, and 2 times 2 gives us 4, but 4 times 2 does not give us 5. So that does not work. So only batches 4 and 5 work here. Okay, what is the area of half, that's a key word here, half of the circle in square centimeters below? Use 3.14 for pi and round your answer to the nearest thousandths, also another keyword. Okay, so we want half. We just want this bottom part. So you're going to find the area for the circle, and then you're still going to have to divide it by 2 because we want half of that circle. So again, let's remind ourselves of the formula for area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Okay, and we know the diameter is 4.6. The diameter is 2 times the radius. So if our diameter is 4.6, our radius is half of that. Diameter divided by 2. So 4.6 divided by 2 will give us our radius. 4.6 divided by 2, you can use a calculator if you need to. That's going to be 2.3. Okay, and then we're just going to plug this 2.3, which is our radius, into our formula here. So area is equal to 3.14 times 2.3 squared. And 2.3 squared is not the same as 2.3 times 2, so please don't get that confused. It's 2.3 times 2.3. So we are going to put in 3.14 times 2.3 times 2.3. We are not done yet. Okay, this gives us the area for the whole circle. Okay, we want the area for half of the circle. So we need to take this and divide it by 2. So I still have this in my calculator. I'm just going to push divided by 2. Okay, so that is what it gives me. So the area for half of the circle is this number. And remember, it said to round to the nearest thousandths. Well, the 5 is in the thousandths place. We want to look at the number behind it. That 3 is not enough to bump that 5 up, so the 5 stays the same and everything else behind it goes away. So 8 and 305 thousandths, and we're talking centimeters squared. Okay, last one. To make a certain hair color, Tamara mixes 3/4 cup of developer for every 3/4 ounces of color. What is the unit rate of cups per ounce? Well, 3/4 cups to 3/4 ounces, they have the same ratio, 3/4 to 3/4. So if we are looking for 1 ounce, how many cups for 1 ounce? If these were the same here, then they're going to be the same over here. Because whatever you multiply times 3/4 to get 1, you would have to do the same to the top. And if it's the same number, to get 1, you're going to be multiplying it by the same number. So our answer is 1 cup. 1 cup per ounce. And OZ is the abbreviation for ounce, by the way. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys are staying super safe, practicing social distancing, getting in touch with your teachers, and enjoying your time with your family. Holler at me if you need help.